Come on. Alright, guys, welcome to class. So, today I'm super duper excited because we are talking about one of my favorite topics. And you guys are probably wondering why you can't see me. Well, that is because. It is because I'm right here. Hi, guys. I already said that today is a super exciting topic because it's one of my favorite topics. And today we are going to be learning about the human body with this glow-in-the-dark human body. Guys, let's check this thing out. So there's this clear little figure here, and it has all the different bones and the organs. We're going to learn about 9 different organs along with all the different bones. If we take a look at the back here, you can see it has 32 pieces. It comes with the model, which is the figure. We got 9 organs here, and there's a pair of forceps and an organizer chart and an instruction and learning guide. So you guys, this is going to be very fun because I personally like learning about anatomy, which is the study of living things, including the human body. I like learning about human anatomy and stuff like that. So this is going to be very exciting for me. Without further ado, let's get this science lesson started. Look at this. Here we have our figure. Got our display stand here. And here we have our forceps to grab our learning guide right here. And let's stay organized with our organizer. Okay, let's dive in and learn about the human body. So the first thing it says here is we're going to remove this clear wrapping right here. That was pretty easy. And then we'll just start pulling everything apart, and then we'll organize and put everything here on this little chart. Okay, so I'm gonna open this up. Ooh, wow. Here we're gonna do whoa, take a look at this. We got the intestines, and look. Whoa. Okay. Whoops. Oh, is that supposed to come off? We'll just put that back in there. Organizer here. So let's use these. And they are gummy and they are sticky. Okay, I'm praying I did not break this because I'll be very unfortunate. So let's put our large and small intestine right there because that's where it says it goes. All right, let's keep going. So here we have the arm muscles. All this red part right here is your muscles. So the arm muscles go right there. And then we've got this giant bone, which is the rib cage, which is right over here, rib cage. So that goes there. We got more organs here. Oh boy. Let's unravel all these organs. They're all probably gonna be really squishy and very sticky. Let's see. Ooh, they're all bunched up like that. Okay. Let's see. Whoa. Let's see. Okay, so here we have the lungs, I believe. Yes, these are the lungs. So that goes there. Okay, let's put these organs in their place. So we got the heart right here. And then got this little long bit, which is the diaphragm. That goes there. Here we have our trachea. Alright, let's go over more parts. So, we got more bones, lots of more bones. This is the front of the skull. So that will go right here where it says skull front. And then this part right here is the bottom of the skull. And if we open it, we got the brain. We got the brain. Let's take, okay, come on out, brain. Skull cap. This will go here. And this is the skull bottom. The bottom of the skull. So, let's keep going. We got the spine here. And then, we got the hip bones. These break apart. We got the hip bones, which go up there. And then the spine. This is your spine. Whoa. Okay, we got a scapula and clavicle, which will go over soon. But this is your spine. And then your sacrum, which is right here, also known as your tailbone. So that goes there. Alright, so let's see. We got the scapula and the clavicle. So let's see. The scapula, I think, is also known as your shoulder blade. And then the clavicle right here, these are your collarbones, which are right by your neck. Is the humerus bone, so that goes right there. We got the radius and the ulna, and then we got your hand bone, which consists of smaller bones which make up your finger. These two bones right here are the femurs. It's the main bone that makes up your leg, and it has the joint here so it can like go around and around. And then these are your tibia and fibula. Those bones are together. One is bigger, one is smaller. And then we got your feet bones, which, like the hand, they consist of smaller bones, but they make up your little toes. Okay, so everything looks good. Now we can learn all about our human body. So let's put this clear man back together, and let's get him on the stand right here. See, he looks good. Okay, so now let's start reading and learning all about the human body. So we are starting right here. It says the human body is a marvel of engineering, a complex and fascinating organism that contains more than 75 organs, 200 bones, 600 muscles, and 30 trillion cells. Scientists who study human biology group parts into systems. So let's take a look at the most important systems of the human body. The skeletal system. An adult human has 206 bones that support and protect the organs inside. Well, that's a lot of bones, 206 bones. The bones are connected to one another by ligaments that form joints that allow the bones to move in different directions. Inside the bones is the marrow, which manufactures the blood cells that our body needs. Bones also store vital nutrients like calcium. So, you know why people say, oh, have a lot of dairy products in your meal and whatnot? It's because that's what our bones need. They need calcium to make our bones stronger. And it's true. So all these bones that you see here, they all have bone marrow. They all join together by ligaments and they form joints. And they also store calcium, which is super duper important for them to stay strong. Let's go to the muscular system. The hundreds of muscles in your body are classified into 3 types. They're skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. So let's talk about skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles are connected to your bones with tendons, tough tissues that transfer the force of muscles to the movement of bones. These are the only muscles that are considered voluntary. That is, the ones that you can consciously control. Like, so you know how you're able to move like your whole body and everything, like your arm or your leg. Those are muscles, those are voluntary muscles. So those are you can actually control. So smooth muscles are found inside organs like the stomach and intestines and inside your blood vessels. These are considered involuntary. So we'll get more into what the stomach and the intestines do later. That the stomach helps digest your food. So there are muscles inside the stomach that help to digest your food, but we don't control those muscles. They do everything on their own. And then the heart has its own special kind of muscle, the cardiac muscle. This is involuntary and is controlled by hormones and signals from your brain that regulate how often the heart muscle will contract. So that's pretty interesting. And fun fact, the strongest muscle in your body based on weight is the masseter, the muscle that lifts your lower jaw. Wow. It can close your teeth with a force as great as 90.7 kilograms, 200 pounds. Wow. Alright guys, I'm gonna start putting back in the bow. Here we have our spine, and in order to do this we need our shoulder blades, which is our scapula and our clavicle. So these go together like this. Just put this side. Okay, that's in. Hip bones. So we're building all of the skeletal system. Then our humerus bone, which is in the arm. Then we got our radius and our ulna. We got our hand. Put that in. And I feel like putting in the muscles, that way we could kind of compare and see what it looks like. This. Alright, so let's continue putting in the rest of the bones. We got our two femurs, which make up the leg. We have our tibia and our fibula. And last but not least, we have our feet bones. Let's place. And so we have all the bones except for a few, but we're gonna go over them because we got some things to go over before we get into those. So let's keep reading. So now we're on the nervous system. So the body's nervous system controls both voluntary actions, like scratching your nose, and involuntary ones, like breathing. So more than 80 billion nerve cells, or neurons, in the human brain send and receive signals that coordinate movement, trigger reactions, and help us think, speak, and plan future actions. So the brain and spinal cord form the central nervous system, the master control of our center of the body. The peripheral nervous system consists of nerves that branch out small parts of the body, relaying information to and from the brain at a speed of about 250 miles per hour, 400 kilometers per hour. That's super fast, guys. That is actually super duper fast. So pretty much this, which is our spinal cord right here, and then the brain and all the nerves inside of it is what controls the nervous system, guys. And it is time for another fun fact. The brain is 60% fat and has the texture of soft tofu, according to one neuroscientist. Nevertheless, it has memory capacity big enough to store the entire internet and is more powerful than any computer existing today. Pretty cool. So, here we're going to put more bones and we're going to insert our brain. I think it's this way. Yep. So, the skull is actually what protects the brain from any damage since it's super soft. You'd have to do like real hard damage and possibly damage the brain. And so now let's continue. So now we're on the respiratory system, which is made up of a group of structures that supply your body with oxygen. So air comes in through your nose, travels down your windpipe, trachea, where it passes through the bronchial tubes, distributing air throughout the lungs. So, fun fact, the left and right lungs are not the same. Your left lung is narrower to allow room for your heart, which we'll get into soon, while your right lung is shorter, which allows room for your liver. Okay, so let's talk about this a little more. So the air goes through your nose or through your mouth when you breathe in, and then when you breathe out, you're releasing carbon dioxide, and so the air that you just breathed in goes down your windpipe or your trachea, which we're putting in right now, and then it goes to your lungs right here, and then it travels all throughout your lungs. The diaphragm is a large dome-shaped muscle that sits just below the lungs and heart. It contracts and flattens when you breathe in or inhale, creating a vacuum that pulls air into the lungs. When it relaxes, it pushes air out of the lungs when you exhale or breathe out. Our diaphragm, let's see, I think it goes just like that. Right, it's like this. When you breathe, your diaphragm gets bigger. Not gets bigger, but it like vacuums all the air in, which is probably why when you breathe, like your belly appears to like come out, and then when you exhale it goes back in. So it's because of this muscle right here. Alright, the cardiovascular system. This is a long one. Keeping all of the body's cells supplied with everything they need to function properly is the job of the circulatory system. A network of organs of blood vessels that brings oxygen, hormones, and nutrients to every cell and removes waste products like carbon dioxide, which we talked about before. The key to all this activity is the cardiovascular system, the heart, the cardio part, supported by a vast system of blood vessels, the vascular part. So oxygen-rich blood from the lungs gets pushed through the arteries to nourish cells and pick up waste products. The oxygen-poor blood then travels back to the heart through veins before being returned to the lungs, and to start all over again. Bridging the arteries and veins are tiny vessels called capillaries where the nutrients and waste products are exchanged. So altogether, the veins, arteries, and capillaries in an adult human stretch far enough to circle the earth 4 times at the equator. That's a cool fun fact. And another fun fact, guys. Actually, before I give you this fun fact. So pretty much the heart, it pumps blood through your entire body, but it has to get the oxygen from the lungs first, and then from that it turns the oxygen into blood. What's interesting that I didn't know was that the capillaries remove waste products, which is pretty, I I didn't know that part. But the lungs, like, they do release carbon dioxide when you breathe out or exhale. Oh, so back to my fun fact. Did you know that your heart is about the size of your fist? Yep, just like that. It's about the size of your fist. Pretty cool, huh? So, let's take our little heart. And I think it's on the left. They said, yep, right there. Okay, guys, now we're gonna go into the digestive system. Digestion. So digestion begins the moment food enters your mouth. So glands inside your mouth secrete saliva, which breaks down starch while your teeth are crunching pieces of food into smaller bits. So swallowing chewed food through your esophagus into your stomach, acids in the stomach start working to break down proteins and kill harmful bacteria. More secretions from the pancreas and gallbladder get added to the mass of food, which has become a semi-liquid paste. And then the next stop is the small intestine, and which is a tube that can be 3 to 5 meters long, 9 to 16 feet on average. And as the food mass passes through this tube, nutrients are absorbed and moved into the bloodstream. On their way to the liver breaks down sugars and carbohydrates and converts them into proteins and other materials that give the body energy. The liver also breaks down harmful and unwanted chemicals and allows them to be expelled from the body as waste. And any material that remains get moved into the large intestine, which is a wider tube, about 1.5 meters, 5 feet long, that stores ferments and undigested matter, turning it into, you guessed it, guys. That's what I'm talking about. And, not the nicest topic in the world, but fun fact, the acid in your stomach is so strong that it dissolves metals like zinc. So, I don't know, I'm sure everybody has thrown up in their life, but when you throw up, all that acid comes up. That's why, like, your throat burns while you're, like, after you brought up everything you brought up. So, let's see, here we have, let's grab our stomach. See, where is the stomach? Stomach goes here, does it? And then the liver goes right here, I believe. And then we have our large intestine and small intestine. Small intestine is this, which I just stretched out. And the large intestine, and then here, this part right here is where that. Okay, so we have all of the digestive system, and you know, one thing, we do need our rib cage that way it protects all of the organs inside. Let's continue reading. We are on the renal system. Your body needs to take in nutrients to have energy, but it also needs to get rid of stuff that it can't use. Much of this process happens in the renal system, which is primarily made up of the kidneys and bladder. The kidneys are bean-shaped organs that filter blood to remove urea, a waste product formed when proteins are broken down to during digestion. The urea is mixed with water, becomes urine, and then travels to the bladder, a balloon-shaped organ. The bladder stores urine until a signal tells that the bladder is full and it needs to be emptied, which means, you will be going to the bathroom. A healthy adult bladder can comfortably hold up to 5 liters, 16 ounces of urine fun fact, healthy kidneys can clean all the blood in the body in about 45 minutes. Here we have our kidneys, our bladder. Put them. They go right under. Alright guys, believe it or not, we are finished with our human body. Now there's other systems in the human body. The endocrine system consists of glands that secrete hormones to regulate your metabolism, growth, and blood sugar, among other things. The immune system and the lymphatic system work hard to defend the body against infections caused by harmful pathogens like bacteria or viruses. The reproductive system allows humans to make more human beings. And the integumentary system refers to the skin. And believe it or not, guys, your skin is the largest organ. It not only protects us from the outside world, but it also regulates body temperature. It gets rid of waste through perspiration, which is sweat. So yeah, you guys, that is pretty much our science lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And these intestines are coming out, which is not a good thing. I hope you guys enjoy learning all about your body. And guys, actually one more thing I wanted to show you. Hold on. Oh, they are glowing a little bit. You can't really tell, but they are. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. They are glowing, guys. The bones are glowing. That is super duper cool. Alright guys, how cool was that? These bones do glow in the dark. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this super cool science lesson. If you did, please be sure to like this video, subscribe for more learning videos, and I will see you guys next time on Michaela Entertainment. Bye.